Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hildibrand adventures. Previously, we joined the Good Inspector, and the Good Inspector, and the Good Assistant on a trip to the dusty desert of Shaloni to track down a nefarious werewolf who was planning on blowing up the train station. Shame on him. But in the course of our travels, Inspector Hardboiled actually opened up a bit about his past. See, he once had an assistant of his own. However, when he confronted his nemesis, the crime king Carnelian, in a moment of weakness, Hardboiled got lost in Carnelian's made-up sob story, and in that moment, Carnelian attacked, cast a spell on him, but Hardboiled's assistant jumped in front of the blast and apparently died. Very tragic. However, I am of the belief that it was not a murder. No, I think that Carnelian transformed the assistant into an oglop, a gross little insect thing, and I think that oglop is still alive and has been following us. I think that very same oglop who helped Inspector Hardboiled so much in that previous installment, I think that's the assistant, still alive, just transformed. We also learned that Carnelian got his soul transposed into the body of a slime, so now he has shape-shifting powers, but even though he's Hardboiled's nemesis, right now he's a subordinate to some researcher who's behind all of this madness. However, Carnelian seems to have his own machinations, because of course. Anyway, I think it's time we resume, huh? See, here's Hardboiled. And look here, right there, it's the oglop. Keeping an eye on the Good Inspector. Mark my words, I will learn your secrets. So, any leads? A need for speed. Oh my god. Okay, I already know I'm gonna have a good time because the first thing I'm seeing here is a direct homage to the theatrical poster for Akira. Awesome. Hardboiled casts a resolute shadow beneath the unrelenting glare of True View's neon illumination. Zephyria, I was hoping you'd drop by. It took a bit of doing, but I was able to widen the crack I made in that storage device and yank out a couple new scraps of data. The first file just so happened to be a record of Carnelian's procedure. Seems the bastard's soul was poured into one of those clot-type monsters. They've got an annoying talent for mimicking shapes and faces, which is exactly what Carnelian took advantage of when he tricked us with his fake Kameka. Oh, right, Kameka, yeah, the cat person sheriff he imitated, that's right. Good timing. Never fear, Inspector Hildibrand is here. I have many reasons to fear. The other I love this running gag of him just not reacting to them at all. Oh, it's good to be back. Oh my god. The other file I pulled had details on yet another monster-fied criminal. This mook was nabbed for repeated vehicular violations, riding his air-wheeler too fast, making reckless maneuvers endangering others, that sort of thing. According to the data, he's running around in the body of a cactar now. Oh my god. Judging by what we've seen of that researcher's schemes, he'll have dispatched the prickly speed demons somewhere outside the dome. But where? Rejoice, my good detective, for I, Hildibrand, agent of inquiry, come bearing the very direction you seek. I have it straight from the mouth of the real Kameka that an ambulatory cactus piloting a flying contraption was supposedly observed streaking through the sky on a southerly bearing. Alas, despite hastening to confirm the sighting, our intrepid sheriff arrived too late to see the needle-covered individual in question. The report was summarily dismissed as fanciful imaginings of inebriated townsfolk. The insistent chirp of veteran instinct nonetheless impelled me to investigate. Thus did my faithful assistant and I venture further south to question the colorful crowds of Tuliyodel. Tuliyolo. Yes. There to find sober witnesses eager to tell of an airborne succulent. They said it was moving at an incredible pace, sat astride a vehicle like the ones the mechanical invaders had ridden. It was last seen zipping past a dirigible before vanishing into the clouds to the south. Alexandria's soldiers ride on air-wheelers, so unless there's another flying cactar out there somewhere, I think we have our man. Good work. Praise. Bask in it. Almost too good, in fact. Uh-oh. Over there, is that a new case I spy? Hardly had to bait the hook. They're the real deal, all right. Although, come to think of it, I don't know why anyone would bother impersonating either of them to begin with. At least the lead seems solid enough. But if we're serious about catching this guy, we'll need an air-wheeler of our own. Come on, there's a shop nearby that does custom jobs. Dude, if we're bringing vehicles into the mix, this is just escalating to absurdity I can only dream of. Oh well. Now, it looks like there are two different bike shops. They look identical, but I choose the one that's all colorful. Don't suppose there's an Oglop nearby. No. There is, however... these slimy little insects gotta stay together, huh? Cripes. Oh, I could go for a nice bowl of custard. Of what? No. Did he say they do custard jobs? No, custom jobs. This is the place. I used to be a regular here, but I ain't been back in a while. Let's see if they still remember me. Well, well, look who the wind blew in. Monam, I've come for my steed. That battered old scrap heap. It's been rusted on my garage floor so long, I doubt it could manage a slow trot, let alone a gallop. Happy to give it a tune-up if you've credits to burn, but I'll need you to supply some parts. A new high-voltage battery and a superconductor coil at a minimum. The chronometer's ticking. I'll see if I can get my hands on a battery, but can I ask you to track down the coil? These sock-boiled dopes wouldn't know a suspension spring from an anti-gravity gimbal, but you I can trust to find the right part without cracking under the pressure. I'm on it, detective. Hardaboiled seems desperate to get his air-wheeler up and running, so I'll give you a tip. You want a coil quick-like, then salvaging the rides of defective sentries is your best bet? I'll even lend you a handy gadget to help you out. Set off the distress signal on the west side of Old Alexandria, and you'll soon have some murderous mechanical company to dismantle for parts. I'll take these two along with me on the battery hunt. Good luck out there. Well, seems all I have to do is kill. And I'm good at killing. Hell yeah. Well, there's the ruins of old Alexandria. Yeah, we don't really talk about what happened here too much. So, I got an air wheeler of my own. It actually shapeshifts into a motorcycle. So cool. Here's a fine place to put down bait. Distress beacon. Originally employed to request reinforcements, this modified beacon emits a distress signal coded to attract the attention of defective sentries. Aha! Come here, you. Show you what a Viper's made of. Is that all you had? What a wimp. Well, now I'm glowing blue for no reason. Man. I guess it's time to return. I wonder if this garage was always here in the game or got added with the patch that added this new Hildibrand chapter. I don't know. Well, get your hands on the coil? That I did. An essential air wheeler part salvaged from a military-grade vehicle. Aye, that should do the trick. And where did your mates run off to? Can't be that hard to find a store that sells batteries. You should probably head over to the Nexus Arcade and see what's keeping them. I think I will, thank you. Hardboiled's taking a sweet time buying a battery. Funny, you don't seem the type to window shop. I smell shenanigans. I better hurry. Ah, the Nexus Arcade. Wow. There are only 2 players here? Well, a few more at the counter. Hello, Bob Ross. Good to see ya? I wonder what devil he's gonna beat the hell out of. Where am I looking? Maybe around here somewhere. Oh, there's Hardboiled. But where are the other 2? I don't like that he's lost track of those 2. Zephyria, any trouble picking up that coil? Nothing you couldn't handle, I'll wager. As for the battery, I bought one easily enough. The problem was convincing the inspector and his gal to stick around after he caught whiff of tantalizing familiarity. Long story short, they wandered off and haven't come back. Suppose we ought to go look for them, eh? Uh-oh. Zombie! Is that a corpse? A smiling corpse? Haha, you needn't fret, detective. This dapper zombie is an old acquaintance of mine. I think this is the first time I've ever remotely seen a zombie dressed like this in media. Wonderful. Allow me to introduce myself, good sir. I am a proud member of the Gentle Dead Men and disciple of Master Zombiebrand. I have been on the road, seeking out new recruits for our merry moldering band. Said search is what brought me here, and into the midst of this unexpected yet most welcome reunion. I don't usually hold with necromancy, but he seems harmless enough. So, if you're done catching up, we've got a case to work on. In actual fact, our conversation was almost entirely case-adjacent. Employing his nose for festering fellows, this gentle zombie traced the stench of necromantic decay to the very facility in which I once slumbered. Yes, I became fast friends with one of the reanimated researchers there. During the process of getting to know each other, he spoke briefly of the only person left alive after the incident. According to my new journal chum, all the lab workers perished when an accident resulted in the leakage of a highly toxic substance. All, that is, save for a single man who habitually wore a protective gas mask. Ah, that's the researcher we're tracking down. We saw him at the end of the last part. Him. Keshkai is his name. He was second in charge after the overseer himself, yet disdained by his peers as a condescending know-it-all. They did, however, grudgingly recognize his passion for his work. Even after devoting a full day to official experiments, he would pour his remaining time and energy into some mysterious side project. And he was the sole surviving researcher, you say? Sounds like we finally have a name for our mastermind. Courtesy of the shambling undead, no less. No matter how many years I do this job. Well, thanks for that. Glad to be of service. Now, if you'll excuse me, my new recruit and I have a cafe tour planned. I love this dude. I wish he could get a name. He recurs so often. So, that fellow was an honest-to-God's walking corpse, huh? I've met weird folks in my line of work, but do you always keep company with such oddballs? Yeah, pretty much. That was out of line. It's just, I reckon there are forces in this world you're better off not messing with. Anyway, let me take these parts back to Monam and get my wheeler repaired. Shouldn't take too long. I'll ride him back here to make sure he's running smoothly, and you can see the magnificent beast in all his glory. This will be good. I feel like the shenanigans are about to begin. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Do you, huh? Huh? I saw you peeping all around. Our gentle zombie friend was as reanimated as ever. So he was. Detective Hardboiled seemed somewhat nervous, excited to reclaim his pride and joy, perhaps. Is that a gun? Holy shit. Damn. Core, would you look at that? What do you think, Zephyria? I call him Night Stallion. Of course he does. He's a custom job built for yours truly, and has far too much horsepower for the average mook to handle. Anti-gravity capabilities are standard, but when it comes to ground speed, he's been tweaked to achieve the highest possible performance. The trick is to install quick heating motor coils. But won't the increased heat compromise the magnetic field's integrity, you ask? Well, that's a valid concern. A hotter drivetrain responds completely differently when you open up the throttle and... You, get those filthy hands off my ride. I merely thought to enhance your beloved steed with a touch of Salamanderville. So you've had this amazing machine this whole time? Why haven't you been riding it until now? Ah, so fresh-faced and innocent. The spitting image of my assistant. Conspicuous camera angle here. I'll never forget the day I hung up my spurs. It was right after I'd caught Carnelian. Damn. I've been simmering in thoughts of vengeance, fit to burst my shell at any moment. Yeah! He did the thing! Oh, there goes the regulator. The big house is too good for the likes of the Crime King. See you in hell, your majesty. Should have pulled the trigger when you had the chance. You've gone soft, hard-boiled. Huh? This flashback exceeds the legal length. Oh, come on. Laced with illicit embellishments, no doubt. Wrap it up, Gumshoe. I feel so included. To cut to the chase, my assistant was avenged, slinging the Crime King into the slammer, took me off the boil, and riding coal just ain't my style. But now that Carnelian's on the streets again, it's time for me to get back in the saddle. They were saying that Cactar punk flew over Thule whatever, then blew past a dirigible on his way south, right? What kind of territory are we looking at? Yaktel, I think. Lots of big trees, are there? Let's make this Yaktel's dirigible landing our starting point. I'll take Night Stallion and meet you there. Perfection. Quest complete. Surely we're not already halfway done. No, I want these to last forever, damn it. I wish I had a shiny air wheeler like the detective. I'd finally be able to keep up with the inspector. Meteorites and meteorons. Oh. Hildibrand is eager to take to the air. Right, we shall find our way to this cocktail dirigible landing. See you there. I'm pretty sure it was Yak's tail, Inspector. This is exciting. I do like Yaktel. It's a very pretty place, especially if you get to see the undergrowth. Let's head there. Believe me, this part of the forest is very sparse compared to what we may see later. And this is definitely the dirigible landing, so our friends should be very nearby. Oh, yeah, here they are. How are things? Sailing through the air is a lovely way to travel. That was my first time aboard a dirigible. 'Tis not so different from an airship, if said airship had jettisoned its own means of propulsion. Ah, you made it. Even this jaded old gumshoe had to appreciate that view coming in over the treetops. Anyway, I talked to the locals while waiting for you lot to arrive, and one fella had seen Mr. Cactar flying down into the lower forests. Oh joy! I'm told the biggest place out that way is a settlement called Mamook, so that'd be our next destination. Let's head over there, walk the streets, ask some questions. You know, the usual. Very good, detective, but what's become of your wondrous wheeler? Night Stallion would draw more attention than I'd like. I'll use that autopilot function to call him if I need him, but otherwise I'll make do with my own 2 feet. Yeah, I feel like a motorcycle would, draw too much attention. Only an idiot would drive a motorcycle in here. Ah, the undergrowth. Beautiful stuff. And look here. It's the village of Mamook. Cripes, what are the lizard people who live here called again? Mamulja? Yeah, that's it. Or was Mamulja a specific person? Boy, it's been a while since I thought about the story of Final Fantasy XIV. Hello, have you seen my friends? Where would they be? Oh, north of me. Oh, they're at the entrance of the village, of course. Car, it's awfully dark here beneath the canopy. Such a dense proliferation of forest giants. I'm reminded of the Twelveswood. That must be Mamook. They build things different down here, huh? We ain't got time to admire the architecture. Spread out and find someone who's clapped eyes on that cactar. In a way, this place is just as neon and colorful as Solution 9. But it's a bioluminescence, I would say. Well, let's have a look around. I feel like a lead is nearby. Knock, knock? Hello, miss. Why, yes, I did see an unusual creature riding a strange vehicle through the forest at breakneck speeds. Wasn't me? The vehicle's terrible noise is what first drew my attention, followed by the incomprehensible yelling of its pilot. Wasn't me? Yet the sight of this posturing man-plant was so absurd I found myself more bemused than frightened. Huh. Maybe it just couldn't control its vehicle and was freaking out? That'd be quite funny, I think. Take a little shortcut here. Oh, there's Hildy. And the stalker. That banana peel is almost as sparkly as the inspector was. I slipped on that banana peel and almost went tail over tea kettle. Could this have been a devious trap laid by our quarry? Keep telling yourself that. Yes, I've encountered the fiend you describe. The forest has its share of fantastical creatures, but this one was undeniably out of place. I observed it smashing one of the giant meteorites with a club, then racing away with the broken pieces. Make of that what you will. so maybe it was here on purpose. But harvesting meteorites, huh? This forest does have plenty of those, embedded in the ground here and there. Hello, sir. Wait, but Kulja, I think he's actually an important character. Yeah, I recognize this dude, actually. Ah, the subject of recent gossip. I crossed paths with the creature myself, and it was indeed odd, but the machine it rode upon was the true wonder. He pulled up alongside me and my wyver, challenged us to a race, then zoomed off with astounding swiftness. If you're planning to catch that fiend, you'll need an equally miraculous mount. Yeah, I think a motorcycle could outpace this thing. Well, let's speak with Hildibrand. Tell him what we learned. Any luck? So, what's the rap? The testimonies I gathered were very much the same. There's a cactuar racing around out there, that much can be certain. But if he's making stops to bag meteorite fragments, then this ain't no simple joyride. Talk to me, Zephyria. Something about those rocks I ought to know. Yeah, please remind me. Some kind of special etheric radiation, eh? We haven't pieced together Keshkayi's plan, a big plan yet, but he seems real interested in those space stones. Which means we've got a good chance of finding a spiky goon by staking out the spots where the meteorites are. If we nab the cactuar, we can make him lead us to the researcher, and to Carnelian. When I say us, I mean me and Night Stallion, of course. Once we find him, the rest of you won't be given chase without an air-wheeler. I have one. I need no such contrivance. These legs have been conditioned by an intensive chocobo-bearing exercise regimen. Oh my god, the callback. I always rewatch recent Hildibrand videos every time I go to record a new one. Wasn't even part of the main dialogue. It was incidental things, just optional dialogue. And Hildy mentioned that, yeah, as a kid he trained by carting around a chocobo on his shoulders and just ran through the desert. Bless him. Well, good luck to him. Still think he's a weak-willed punk, but I can't deny that uncanny body of his is made of sterner stuff. Let's get on with it then. I hear there's a few good-sized meteorites alongside the road that leads out of town. We'll start at the near end and hope the Mook puts in an appearance. As good a plan as any. We have a vantage point, hard-boiled, and I guess they're doing a passable job at hiding. Fancy meeting you here. I, too, deduce that this may very well be the scene of our criminal's next crime. Who knew meteorites were so big or bumpy? Me? Is that clumsy oaf trying to hide? He's trying. Gotta applaud the spirit of it. No wheeler riding cacti around here. Let's move on. Ugh, that idiot inspector. Took off like he had the case all sewn up, but running fast didn't find him any leads, did it? And here I thought he was onto something. That way, Nashu. I think I may be onto something. I guess we have to trust his gut. How about this spot? Looks likely. Maybe. Is it almost time to eat? If you could endure but a little while longer, Nashu. Is that dolt trying to keep out of sight or not? No sign of him here either. On to the next meteorite. There's gotta be a better way to do this. I detect a hint of criminality. In that direction. Onwards, Nashu. We mustn't let the detective beat us to the punch. Hi, Nashu. Yes, I see you. Third time's the charm, right? Oh. We have two stalkers, it seems. I could murder an egg right about now. How about you two? Oh, he's eating a banana. I say, Munch, these bananas, Munch, are really quite good. Travel tacos, Munch. I wish I could have a travel taco. Seems sensible. Here we go. Oh my god. Look out and stand aside, or it's 1,000 needles in your hide. Make way for the unmatchable, uncatchable Spike. Oh my god. I thought this whole time I was picturing one of the tiny cactars. This one looks ripe for the smashing. Hold it right there. I'm gonna need you to hop off that air-wheeler. Huh? Ah, you must be the blowhards I was warned about. Think you can give orders to the succulent speedster? My ride is maxed out with the black market mods, and there ain't no one faster. Keep up if you can, slowpokes. But his club. If that's the way it's gotta be, challenge accepted. To me, Night Stallion, it's time to burn rubber. I'm right behind you! And I'm right behind you, Inspector. I feel like Hardboil's gonna have all the fun. Yeah! Damn it, the stallion's at full gallop and I'm still trailing. Twould seem you require my assistance after all. What the? You caught up to me on foot? Fine, change of plans. Where's my damn python? Oh God in heaven, save us all. I'll just tweak the weapon's elemental settings like so. With you steering and me providing the thrust, that fiend will soon learn a harsh lesson. Nothing outruns a fired-up Manderville man. Holy shit. Ah! Are they actually gaining on me? Come on then. I feel the needle for speed. Oh, boo. We did it! Victory is ours! Night Stallion, no! Now that's a nightmare, but Tish. I can't believe it. My undefeated record. My legendary win streak. It's over. And yet, I feel strangely content. Enough. You win. Just hand me over to the coppers and be done with it. Wow, that's really sensible of him. I guess he got everything he wanted. On a personal level. So the researcher forced you to work for him, like he did with the other fiends. That's right. Told me to smash and grab the meteorites from the forest, but not what he wanted them for. All this way to nab some delinquent goon and no leads on Keshkai or Carnelian to show for it. Not to mention my beautiful ride getting trashed. This one's on you, Hildibrand. Perhaps we can try running together next time. Oh, if you're looking for Keshkai, I know exactly where he'll be, waiting for my meteorite delivery over by the cliffs southwest of here. Why didn't you say that sooner? That Carnelian is there with him. He won't escape me this time. I leave this criminal Cactar in your custody. Fiendish appearance aside, 'tis a man's soul within, so please treat him accordingly. Now, let us follow the detective to these cliffs, shall we? I must ensure these villains are served a gentleman's justice. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. And there's that Oglop ever following. It's gotta be the assistant. I'll be shocked if it isn't. Let's get there pronto. Yeah, definitely feeling like this will be like the penultimate episode of the Hard-Boiled Adventures. I feel like the next installment will be the end of this, so whatever we learn from Keshkayi and Carnelian, it's really going to set up the finale of this chapter, huh? Here we are. Beautiful cliffs all around. Don't mind the giant enemy mantis over there. Terrifying. Full belly. Happy heart. Do you smell it? The scent of criminality is in the air. Shush. I can hear them all just up ahead. Let me get the drop on them before we all go barging in. He's late. We must assume something went wrong. These meteorites will provide the perfect energy source, and I would prefer to harvest a surplus, but it is too great a risk to linger here. Freeze, mage! You so much as twitch your lips and I'll light you up. No! I've worked too hard to give up now. I definitely think that Hardboiled could have fired off a stun shot. He's just focusing way too hard on Carnelian. He's getting away. He'll keep. I've got the one I want. But don't think I'm taking you in just so you can escape. Never again. Murder is not the answer, detective. Cough. Uh-oh. Where did Carnelian go? You almost had me, if not for this bumbling fool you tolerate. Soft as ever. Damn him! You and me are done, Hildibrand. Stay out of my way. No. No, dude. No. Not like this. My recent inadequacies as an inspector appear to have earned the detective's ire. 'Twas you he turned to for assistance with this case, Zephyria. It is only fitting that you remain at his side for the duration. Meanwhile, Nashu and I shall persist with our independent inquiries. Oh, man. What a sour ending, huh? Talk to me, Hard-Boiled. Sorry for the sudden exit back there, but that yolk for brains had me steaming. Hildibrand only wants to help. That's the problem. His help ain't nothing but a hindrance. As a stalker, too. For the love of... I see you skulking over there, soft-boiled. Isn't this a delightful spot of serendipity? We were simply following the villain's trail, and look how we've all run into each other. Completely by chance. Well, we were only passing through, after all. We shall apprehend that masked mastermind with our own tried-and-true methodology. You shall see. Zephyria, I want you on the case with me from here on out. When it comes to a proper guide beyond the dome, as well as being tougher than yours truly, no one else fits the bill. You might need to cool your heels for a bit while I work on salvaging more data, but Hard-Boiled always gets his files in the end. See you around. Quest complete. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Wow, what a facility. At long last my scheme has come to fruition. No longer must I endure the company of incompetent colleagues. All is in readiness. The replication of my brilliant mind is at hand. He wants to clone himself? Never again will I be known as the Canaloka Corpus's second best. My name shall ring across the lands, carried far and wide by an army of unrivaled geniuses. Something amusing? Oh, just the fact that you repaired a device capable of miracles, yet your plans for it are so very banal. How do you pronounce that word? You dare mock me? Yikes. What a bore he was, now to realize a dream worthy of this marvelous technology. Master Poo-Poo's UFO? Of course! The cloning! Oh shit! What a callback! Is Poo-Poo okay? Is he safe? Detective Hard-Boiled, they call me. Cool and tough as a cucumber wrapped in old leather. I'm a man who prefers his own company. Today's egg was overdone. I let the pot boil and boil, a match to my mood. They say you can't make a cracked shell whole again. Maybe it's time I smashed it completely. Car, those are some troubling thoughts. Can anyone save Detective Hardboiled from himself? I bet the inspector can. With us on the case, a happy ending is never far away. Yay! I hope so. I'm sure it'll all work out. Sheesh, Zephyria. I work fast, but not that fast. Come back another day, will ya? Oh, before you go, you remember when I said I felt eyes on me? Well, I still feel like I'm being watched. Maybe I do have some addle-headed admirer after all. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Who can say? Well, that's another end to the Hildibrand adventures. I want to see what happens next right now. Well, luckily for me, that's actually going to be a bit sooner than usual. See, this chapter I just played through, it actually came out like a month ago, but I'm only getting around to it right now. Why, you ask? Just because I am lazy. Yes, that's exactly why. The trend of this chapter of Hildibrand being the best chapter absolutely continues. Yeah, no, wow, they're actually pouring a surprising amount of characterization and drama into this, which I do appreciate. I mean, as long as the comedic heart is still there, that is the glue that holds it together, I say, then it's all fine. What a wonderful callback to the Endwalker chapter of this story, with Master Poo-Poo and his cloning UFO. Maybe they captured it and modified it, or maybe they just replicated it. It's hard to say. I think they could go either way, so I'm very curious to see what they choose to write. We're definitely steering down a path of Hardboiled becoming too hardened. Like, he's losing himself in his quest for revenge. You see it a million times, but I have faith that the assistant who got turned into an Oglop will come back and set him back on the right course. I have faith. I have faith. Well, another wonderful chapter in the bag, so let's call it here. I'm Zephyria Jeste. This has been more of the Hardboiled Adventures. No, that's wrong. The Hildibrand Adventures. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.